Eating in your 30s is different. You can't just eat like you did in your early 20s, have a few drinks on the weekend, and expect your body to look the same. Your metabolism hasn't broken, but your lifestyle has changed. If you guys are new here, then welcome. My name is Matt. I'm 29. I'll be turning 30 next year. I've been a personal trainer for the last 8 years, a physiotherapist for the last 5, and I've been training consistently for the last decade. So in this video, I will be sharing with you the exact nutritional blueprint that I use successfully with my online clients to help them look good and feel strong. These strategies are simple, enjoyable, and sustainable. So if you're tired of all the misinformation out there, all the BS that this fitness industry is giving you about dieting, then this video is for you. So why exactly does dieting feel harder in your 30s? Most people will blame it on the fact that their metabolism has slowed. And whilst that is true to a certain degree, your metabolism has slowed over the years as you reach your late 20s and 30s and beyond. That's not the main problem. I remember being back in uni in 2018. I lived around 25 minutes walk from campus, so to get there and back for lectures and tutorials, it took about 50-60 minutes. I basically walked everywhere, and so I averaged around 10 to 15k steps a day. In addition to that, I was a madman and I trained 6 to 7 days a week. I was super active and I didn't even realize it. And it was probably the same for you when you were in your early 20s, when you were back at uni. But now you drive to and from work, sit at a desk for 8 to 9 hours plus, and then you crash out after dinner on the sofa. So it's not that your metabolism broke, and it's not just because it slowed down. It's because your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT, dropped, i.e. you're not moving as much as you used to. You've also probably realized that your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. In my early 20s, I could eat McDonald's, Five Guys, Burger King, KFC just before a workout and still somehow hit PRs and feel like I've had a good session. Of course, it wasn't optimal and I would have performed even better had I eaten healthier. In my late 20s, I noticed that my recovery was slower and that my body holds on to inflammation for longer. And this inflammation is caused when I eat fast food, when I eat junk food, when I eat things that maybe I should eat a bit less of. So now I really feel the difference between when I eat whole proper foods that fuel my body for the workout and when I eat junk food. And you've probably felt this as well. You have to eat well to feel well, because consistency and food quality matter now more than ever. When you approach your 30s, life becomes busier and your willpower is lower. You're juggling work, relationship, and kids, and you don't have time to obsess over what you're eating. Because at the end of a long working day, the last thing that you want to do is spend an hour preparing and cooking and then cleaning up after you've made a meal. It's so much easier to just slump on the sofa and get yourself that takeaway that you've been craving the entire day, whether that be a kebab, Chinese food, Thai, or curry. And I am absolutely guilty of this too. Your diet needs to be simple and automatic, not complicated. So here's how you actually eat in your 30s. Now, I've used intermittent fasting for years. And it's not just because it's a magic tool for fat loss, which it isn't, by the way. Like, there's no magic tool for fat loss, just to get that out there. But because it has simplified my day into 2 windows: eating and fasting. Contrary to popular belief, just a little side note to say that cereal companies said that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, purely as a marketing tactic. Kellogg's wanted you to eat their cereals, so they would say it's the most important meal of the day, but it isn't. After waking, I drink plenty of water, I hydrate, I wait 60 to 90 minutes after getting some outdoor time before having my first dose of black coffee, and I don't have my first meal until about noon. And it's hard at the start. The first 2 weeks, your body needs time to adapt to it, but once it does, you don't even think about food until 12 p.m. So my eating window is around 12 to 8 p.m. It can be a little bit more or a little bit less. But why it's so great is because it helps me and my clients control our dietary intake, our caloric intake for the day. We also get to eat fewer but larger satiating meals, so we feel like we're eating like a normal person, and all we have to do is skip breakfast. So the pros of intermittent fasting, the pros of the way that I do things and the way that I get my clients to do things, is that you'll notice better focus, digestion, and less snacking as a result. If you guys are interested in working with me one-to-one to achieve your fitness goals, then the link is in the description below. We also need to talk about protein. Protein is arguably the most important macronutrient. It's your insurance policy for staying lean, but also satiated after a meal. Have you ever had a meal that's just been a vegetarian dish where you've had some vegetables and rice? You eat it and you just feel like, it hasn't hit the spot. That's because it's missing protein. Protein will keep your hunger and your energy levels stable. But here's the truth. You don't need as much as you think you do. You don't need to be eating 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. You only need 0.8 grams, or to be exact, 0.81 grams per pound of body weight. If you go up to 1 gram per pound of body weight, it's not the end of the world, but those calories could be spent better on carbs and fat. Which brings me on to talking about carbohydrates. Some people think carbs are the enemy. I had one client say to me she's cut out carbs because she thinks they're bad. She thought that carbs were the reason why she wasn't able to lose fat. But the reality is your body needs carbohydrates. It is the primary fuel source. You can have carbohydrates. You should have carbohydrates. So time them around your workouts, your resistance training, gym, lifting, strength training sessions, before and after, because this is when your body uses them best. And if you are going to have sugar, that is the time to have it, because it's going to refuel your glycogen stores in your muscle. Now we also need to talk about fats. We all know that unhealthy fats, for example, the fats and oils that your kebab chips are cooked in, should be kept to a minimum. But most people think that healthy fats can't make you fat. The truth is that olive oil, peanut butter, and other nuts can add up quick. So my tip is to keep fats moderate, enough so that you maintain a healthy hormone balance and hormone profile, but not too excessive with the calories. So for myself and for my clients, I usually aim for 0.3 to 0.4 grams per pound of body weight. But this can vary depending on activity levels, i.e. if you're more active, if you're going to the gym that day, you might want to be on the lower side and have more carbohydrates. And if you are less active that day, if it's a rest day and you're not training, you're not resistance training, you might want to have a little bit more fats. But of course, with my online clients, I make sure that their meal plan is completely personalized, because cookie cutter programs for meal plans don't work. And I've touched upon this earlier in the video, but in all my videos, in fact, I love to eat out, and so do some of my clients. It's something that you should enjoy. So I had this bodybuilder friend, and it seemed like she was always on prep for a show or a competition. She would bring her meal prep to every single social event or dinner. While we'd be tucking into steak and chips, she'd be eating chicken, brown rice, broccoli, and little tubs. In fact, not even rice, literally chicken, veg, or fish and veg. And I understand that, fair enough, she was in competition, she needed to hit her macros exactly. But for most of us who aren't bodybuilders, for most of us who aren't on prep for competition, we don't need to be doing this. We can eat out, we can have things that we enjoy, we can have our favorite foods and still drop fat. You don't need to avoid having a social life, you just need to plan your day around it. If you're eating out for dinner, keep your earlier meals a little bit lighter, higher in protein, lower in fats and carbs. My clients are delighted at the fact that I'm able to program into their nutrition plan things that they enjoy eating. Pizza, ice cream, and even hamburgers. So the thing that separates people who are in great shape in their 30s and those who are not isn't perfection. It's consistency. So for myself, I have around 5 to 6 meals on rotation. These meals are known as my anchor meals, and I know pretty much exactly the macros inside those meals. I know the calories, the protein, the carbs, and the fats, because I've had them so many times. And maybe once a week, I will have a day off from my regular nutrition plan. And perhaps one of the most important things that I emphasize is to avoid the all or nothing mindset. Missing a meal, having an unplanned meal out, or even just tucking into some dessert or some cake one day because it's someone's birthday. That doesn't ruin progress. What ruins it is thinking that once you've messed up a little bit, you just go, sod it, let me just give up. A single off-track meal should not lead to a 3-week skid. So we want the perfect balance of enjoying life while still eating mostly healthy and staying on track with our diet. And there's a simple rule that I follow and I get my clients to follow. It's the 80-20 rule. It's where 80% of the time you eat healthy whole foods, you fuel your body with the nutrients that it needs. But then 20% of the time you are a little bit more flexible and you eat what you like. Now, if you're new to training, then you can grab my 2 times a week minimalistic training plan. It's completely free and involves you training 2 times a week. Link is in the description. However, if you want a more personalized approach, then I'm delighted to say that I have a few spots open for my one-to-one online coaching. I would love to help you guys achieve your fitness goals. However, I'm only taking on a very select number of clients. So if you want the chance to work with me, then click the link in the description below to book a call. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found.